Human cadets entered the Forbidden Zone and left with every enemy. Disarmed, Commander. Zexthul's 4 eyes widened as he watched the tactical display. The impossible was happening before his compound vision. 3 human cadets had not only survived entry into the Forbidden Zone but were somehow neutralizing every hostile force they encountered without firing a single shot. This cannot be accurate, the Velkari officer hissed, his translator struggling with the rapid clicks and whistles of his native tongue. No species has ever returned from Sector 47 alive, much less with their enemies pacified. Captain Sarah Chen floated beside him in the observation deck of the Galactic Harmony, her magnetic boots keeping her anchored as she studied the feeds from the cadets' helmet cameras. The 3 young humans, Marcus, Elena, and Kai, had volunteered for what everyone assumed would be a suicide mission. The Forbidden Zone was where the galaxy's most dangerous war criminals and escaped military assets had made their stronghold, a place so lethal that even the combined might of 12 species had declared it off limits. "Sir," came Elena's voice through the comm, steady despite being surrounded by a pack of Razorclaw mercenaries. "We're encountering some of the Theta Squadron escapees, beginning diplomatic contact." Commander Zexthul's mandibles clicked in what his species considered laughter. Diplomatic contact? Those are genetically modified killing machines. They have no concept of— His words died as the display showed Elena slowly removing her helmet, exposing her face to creatures that could tear through reinforced steel with their bare claws. The razor claws, bred for nothing but violence, had stopped mid-charge and were listening. "The thing is," Elena was saying to the 7-foot-tall killing machines, "you guys have been stuck in here for what, 3 years? No real food, no entertainment, no contact with the outside world. That's gotta be rough." Marcus chimed in over the comm from his own location deeper in the zone. "Yeah, I'm talking to some Void Stalkers right now. Turns out they're not actually evil. They were just following orders from a corrupt general who told them their families would be executed if they didn't comply. They've been carrying that guilt around for decades." Captain Chen smiled despite herself. The human cadets weren't using weapons or advanced technology. They were using something the galactic community had long forgotten in their military academies: basic empathy. "This is preposterous." Commander Zexthul's voice rose to a screech. "These are trained killers, monsters. The Void Stalkers alone have eliminated entire colonies." "Kai to base," came the 3rd cadet's voice, calmer than his companions. "I've made contact with the central command structure. It's complicated. Most of these war criminals are actually victims of a massive cover-up by the old Hegemony Council. They were used as scapegoats for atrocities committed by the Council members themselves." The tactical display now showed something unprecedented. Armed enemies laying down their weapons and gathering in small groups around the 3 human cadets. Elena had somehow convinced the Razorclaws to share their rations. Marcus was teaching Void Stalkers basic meditation techniques he'd learned in cadet training. Kai had organized what appeared to be a truth and reconciliation session with various faction leaders. "How?" whispered Zexthul. "How are they doing this?" Captain Chen turned to the alien commander, her expression thoughtful. "We have a saying on Earth: the enemy is just a friend you haven't met yet. Our military doctrine includes something most species skip: conflict resolution and psychological warfare through understanding rather than force. But the tactical reports, the psychological profiles, these beings are irredeemably hostile." "According to whose reports?" Chen asked pointedly. "Reports written by the same council that apparently use these people as scapegoats?" On screen, Elena was now surrounded by a dozen different species, all listening intently as she explained basic concepts of restorative justice. Marcus had organized the various factions into work groups, helping them repair damaged sections of their improvised base. Kai was documenting testimonies, his recorder capturing stories that would completely rewrite the galaxy's understanding of the last 50 years of conflict. "Sir?" Elena's voice crackled through the comm. "Requesting permission to extend our mission timeline. We're going to need more time to process refugee applications." "Refugee applications?" Zexthul's voice cracked. "That's right," Marcus added. "Turns out most of these folks just want to go home to their families. The ones who can't, because their families think they're dead or because they're genuinely afraid of retribution, want to apply for asylum in neutral space. Captain Chen activated her comm. Cadets, are you saying that the Forbidden Zone is no longer forbidden? Well, Kai replied, and Chen could hear the smile in his voice. There's nobody left to forbid it from. Everyone here either wants to leave peacefully or wants to help rebuild what the old council destroyed. Oh, and sir, the Razor Claws have offered to serve as a peacekeeping force for refugee resettlement. Apparently, they're really good at protecting people when they're not being forced to hurt them. The observation deck fell silent except for the hum of the ship's systems. Commander Zexthul stared at the display where former enemies were working together to dismantle weapons caches and plan peaceful transitions. 50 years, he whispered. 50 years we've been afraid of this place. 50 years of the best military, mines in 12 species, and 3 human children solved it in one afternoon with conversation? Captain Chen nodded, pride evident in her voice. Commander, you're looking at why humans were accepted into the Galactic Defense Corps despite being the youngest species in the Alliance. We don't just fight wars, we end them. Sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a starship. What is it then? Zexthul asked. Chen smiled as she watched Elena teaching a group of former enemies how to play a simple Earth game called Rock, Paper, Scissors, their laughter echoing through the comm system. The willingness to listen, she said, simply, and the courage to believe that everyone deserves a second chance. By the end of the week, the Forbidden Zone had been officially redesignated as Rehabilitation Sector 47, and 3 human cadets had inadvertently solved the galaxy's longest-standing military crisis by doing something revolutionary, treating their enemies as people. The galaxy would never be the same.